If you move to a new country, it is probable that you will face a number of different challenges. Maybe it's learning a new language, it's developing a new community, it's finding a job. Like there's a lot of stuff to get it on top of. In addition, inevitably, you're going to be navigating a new financial system. So, what are things called? Who can I trust? How much does life cost? We're going to talk a bit about the lived experience of two not so newcomers to Canada who moved here from Colombia in South America and are now living in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Our guests are Pipe and Aleja Villegas, and they are the founders of Para Canada, an immigrant community that aims to provide resources for people looking to move to Canada. Hello and welcome to you both.
Hi, Bruce.
We're so
welcome,
excited
welcome,
to
welcome.
be here with you. Thank
We're
you
so
very
glad
much
to
for
have
the
you.
invitation.
You have been in Canada for 3 years. How would you characterize life today versus life 3 years ago when you stepped off a plane? I don't know if it was to Manitoba. Please tell me it wasn't February. Was it February?
No, we came here in the springtime, so we can enjoy not to the whole cold city. We can enjoy the summertime and then the winter comes. So we went good at that time.
And
I am
we
relieved to hear that.
Yeah, and we chose Manitoba because sometimes the people said or ask, why Manitoba? Because in Latin America, when you talk about Canada, always think about Toronto, Vancouver, or Montreal. So why Manitoba? And actually it's a very good province because the cost of living is much lower and their provincial nomination programs are very good. So yeah, and it's a quiet city. We find a quality of life. We have good friendships here, and yeah, there are many opportunities.
Yeah, great arts community. You can get real estate for less than $5 gazillion. So that's good. Pipe, tell me a bit about your decision to leave Colombia. Why did you decide to? I know you moved first to Australia and then to Canada, but what was the drive to do that, to make that change?
Well, actually, the dream of living Canada, it was a start like 10, 15 years ago. But at that time was really hard because, to come here, you need money, you need good English, you need a lot of things. And in that moment, we didn't have these things. So that's why we choose Australia. But leave Colombia, it was difficult because you leave your family, you leave your friends, the food, and a lot of things. And sometimes get a new experience, it's hard because you don't know what happened in the future. You don't know if you can find a good job, if you will achieve the goals. So it's difficult, but at the end of the way, it was good. Our experience in Australia, it was really good. It was hard because we work a lot of hours. We work in the cleaning industry, so we clean schools, we clean office, we clean stadium, we clean everything. It was hard, but we improve our English, we save money, and then we start to think about Canada.
And you know what? Leave Colombia was a hard situation, especially because we leave Colombia the same day that we get married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo! For better or for worse,
Crazy.
hey? Well, so Aleja, I want to ask you, when you think about these last couple of years, I'm sure there's a mix of things that have been easy and great and things that have been very difficult and not so great. If we start with some of the challenges that you have faced, what would be the top 2 or 3?
Oh my gosh. The first one, the English.
Yep.
Is the first thing that you have to learn before you came to Canada or before you leave your country. You have to be able to communicate in English. Not perfect for sure, but you have to communicate at least. So the English was my first challenge that I have to face. And you know what? The financial topic was a difficult one as well, because you have to adapt yourself, a new system, a new money. Here is more expensive than Colombia for sure, and in relation with Australia, you can have the same expenses but the lower salary. So we have to readapt again when we came here. So those ones are the most challenge things that we have to face.
What are some things that you noticed when it comes to the money, in addition to how much you need to earn and what things cost? Were there surprises in terms of like the names of institutions or the tax system or, credit cards versus cash? What would be some of the things that you noticed that for someone like me, I've lived here my whole life, I wouldn't necessarily notice those things?
Yeah, as Aleja mentioned, it was not easy because you can find a lot of information. Actually, you can find a lot of tools to get a good financial information. But as you know, when we arrive in a new country, you just want to find a good job and improve English and start the permanent resident process. So when for example in our case, our bank started to recommend to do certain things. For example, the fair home saving account. So our bank said that, okay, guys, do you want to buy a house in 1, 2, 3 years? And we said, of course, we really want to buy a house. Okay, so now you need to start to save money in this account because probably in the future you're going to pay less taxes, and it's difficult because you know what, the first year we paid a lot of money in taxes, and we paid some fees in our bank because we didn't know all the information here in Canada.
So yeah, for sure, it's a different. The financial thing is different here than in other countries. So first of all, the names. What is a first home buyer's account? What is the GIC? What is the? This is like Chinese for us. So
Right.
so we have to start since zero, learning about every single topic in order to have a wellness in our financial area, because it's not easy. And some people doesn't care about it since 3 or 5 years that they are living here. Since they're past all the permanent resident process, they realize, oh my gosh, I have to reorganize my finance here, otherwise I couldn't live here anymore. So yeah.
You decided to help other newcomers to Canada with the founding of Para Canada. What was the thinking behind that? Surely you could have just had your weekends off and laid around and watch movies, but no, you decided you wanted to do this too. How come?
You know what? When we immigrate the first time to Australia, we had a lot of problems. We just lose money, we lose time, we face a lot of challenges in Australia. So when we decide to come to Canada, we say, okay, we already learned a lot here in Australia. We couldn't have the same problems in Canada. We are going to do the things better. And why not share all those information in order the people that wants to do their first migration process to write. And this is the main reason that we start, because we want to help people.
And we had some problems in Australia because we made bad decisions because we don't have the correct information. So that's why we create the account, because we want to give all the Latino community the good information to make good decisions. And that's why we arrived here in Manitoba, because a lot of people say that
Even a Canadian
money what? Because yeah, even a Canadian people.
Why Winnipeg is so cold here? Why you don't choose Vancouver? And we say, oh my gosh, I have to explain you the permanent resident process and all these things. So
and after years, 2, 3 years, if you want to live in Vancouver, Montreal, or Toronto, that's okay. but you started a good process and you got your permanent resident, and then you can move it. But you can make a good decision if you have the correct information. And yeah, this is the main purpose that the our
Because
account in
for the
Instagram.
Latino community, it's so expensive to leave our countries. Our peso is not too good. So in order to afford this kind of experience, you have to work a lot. And it's so sad when you saw people that they lose everything, all their efforts, all their savings, just for one bad advice or because they choose a wrong city. That's why we want to start the community.
Just before we go here, my one last question, because you've learned a ton, you've put tons up on social media. If you were to boil it down into your number one tip as it relates to money, anything money related that you would share with newcomers to Canada, what would that one financial tip be? Now, there's two of you, so you could each have a different one. I'm going to be generous.
I think don't wait too much in order to learn about the financial things here in Canada. You have to start right away or even before you come here, because it's so important to get a great credit, have a good relationship with the banks, or how you can invest here instead of you have your money settle in your bank account. You can invest while the meantime. The international students here came with money because the government requests us to show money in our account, and some people just sit this money for 2 or 3 years in their bank account doing nothing. So start learn before you come here in order to increase your money and don't devaluate one.
And I say that I will say that save money is important, but invest the money wisely is probably most important. So that's why the financial education is very, very important if you want to move a new country.
Great. Thank you both for your time joining us today. Your story is an inspiration, and on behalf of all the people who are reading your stuff on social media, I say thank you on their behalf, because I know you're really providing value to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce, for the time.
Thank you, Bruce, for inviting us.
Pipe and Aleja Villegas are the founders of Para Canada, an immigrant community that aims to provide resources for people looking to move to Canada. They arrived here from Colombia and now live in Winnipeg, Manitoba.